Hey guys, it's Steve, and welcome to another short mental health video on the topic of borderline personality disorder. Today we're talking about a question from a subscriber. The subscriber says, um, what do I do about the returning of a borderline after you think you've been discarded or done? So in other words, how do you handle when somebody comes back in your life that you thought you'd been discarded by them, you thought that they had given you the borderline discard, which basically means they would go away forever. And then they come back, the returning of the borderline after you think you've been discarded or done. So that's kind of like the question. I think it's being like the boyfriend or partner of someone with BPD can be really hard because of those love-hate cycles. I remember one girl I would date, it was like shifting weeks. It'd be like one week everything was fine. She'd be telling me she loves me, kissing me, having sex with me. Everything's wonderful. She tells me I'm, the sweetest guy ever. She told me one time something like I was amazing or something like that. And I was pretty much she'd say I was like wonderful. That's the love cycle. That's when she's really being appreciative of everything I'm doing. And then the hate cycle would be like the following week. She'd call me up on the phone. There was times she'd threaten to kill me in the hate cycle. She'd have me by the throat out front of my building so bad that the police would have stopped if they had driven by. That's an example of the hate cycle. During one evening of the hate cycle, she walked by my apartment building and told me she is no longer talking to me anymore. And then that evening, it's her at the front door. So that's an example of things borderline girls do is they'll say one thing and do another. So when you're the boyfriend and you think you've been discarded, you think that the borderline girl has gone away forever. You start to really, you spend so much time processing the pain of them leaving. I remember one time right around Christmas when my borderline girlfriend left me, it actually left me suicidal, almost killed myself. Right around Christmas Eve. It was like the day after, or it might have been Christmas Eve itself. I was devastated that she left me. They tend to push people away around the holidays. Are really hard for them. I'm not really sure why. But she was pushing me away right on the holidays, and it left me suicidal as the boyfriend. So that'd be an example of the hate cycle. I mean, this is a woman that's loved on me tremendously, done sweet things for me. One time she tiled my entire bedroom at my house. The last time she visited me, she cleaned my bathroom for no reason other than the fact she probably wanted to clean it, but that was sweet of her, right? So those are things that the borderlines do in the love cycles. They do very sweet things for their partners. So as far as the returning of the borderline, there was one night last winter, right before my borderline girlfriend came back. I thought I had been discarded. I thought she had gone away forever. I didn't think I'd see her again. And then one night I'm making tuna fish, on frying up some tuna fish, making like a stir fry or something like that. And then she hits me up and needs a place to stay. She was sleeping in her car, homeless, with her service animals, which were two small dogs. But so anyway, being a person that loves her, being a person that's codependent, I said, come on over and stay. She at the time admitted to me that she said she had been like hitting me up on Facebook and liking some of my Facebook stuff. She had said to me, I was thinking to myself, what do I have to do to get your attention? So that's the hoovering cycle. What do I have to do to get your attention? You see what I'm saying? So she hoovered me in, making me think that she kind of still cared about me, still want to be friends, when in all reality, she just needed a place to stay. So I'm not mad at her for that. I've chosen to be kind of like this girl's friend despite. She said she just wants friends. She doesn't want me to be a boyfriend. So I've had to back off from that desire to love her. There was one borderline girlfriend that said to me, quote, you don't get to love me. You don't get to love me. So she was saying, you don't get to love me. And she was a borderline girl. She would admit during our dating periods that she was pushing and pulling me. She would get on the phone and say, I'm pushing and pulling on you, and I don't know why. She would actually say she needed to get therapy for it. Super sweet girl, but really bad in the hate cycle. Like 80% of women are domestically hurt in domestic violence. That's because their boyfriends don't understand the mental illness. They don't understand BPD. They don't understand the love-hate cycles. They don't understand the psychosis. Like the last girl I dated ended up in the hospital for a month for a borderline psychosis induced by major stress, induced by physical abuse, that one of the guys she was dating was physically abusing her. And it was causing so much stress to her that she actually went into a BPD psychosis over it. And I had to have her hospitalized for a month. So she spent a month in the Veterans Hospital in a full-blown BPD psychosis. She thought the whole police department was after her at the hospital. It was really bad. So they can, and then throw in co-occurring disorders like schizophrenia could be co-occurring with BPD. Bipolar can be co-occurring with BPD. Anxiety, PTSD. Like my ex-girlfriend has major anxiety, which means that she can barely be around people. She doesn't like to talk on the phone, so I don't call her. The most I'll do is text her because she won't even answer the phone if I talk. I think that's the anxiety piece, right? They might not know who it is. They're anxious. They're just not going to pick up the phone. But during that hate cycle, they're going to block you. They're going to get their family against you, their friends against you. They may put false police charges on you. But you can't get mad at the girl. You can't physically abuse them, verbally berate them, because a lot of times they just don't know they're doing it. Like my last girlfriend, full-blown psychosis. One day, hadn't seen her for like 2 days. This is a true story. Hadn't seen her. I stayed in a hotel because her boyfriend was being physically violent to her. So I stayed in a hotel with her overnight to kind of like be there with her, keep her safe and stuff. She ends up leaving the hotel in the middle of the night because her ex-boyfriend had like threatened something. So she left the hotel. The same guy that was being violent towards her, left the hotel, went up, met up with him. And then I didn't see her for like 2 days. So after like the second day of not seeing her and worrying, not knowing if the boyfriend killed her, what happened, I went up on her third floor apartment and I knocked on her door to see if I asked her if she wanted help with chores. And she was one of those girls that liked help with stuff, like help with chores, help with meals, things like that. I said, would you like to have some help with your chores and stuff? Because I was just going to help her because her boyfriend was actually in jail at the time for domestic violence. And at the time she said no. I said, do you want me to leave, sweetie? And she said yes. And I left. I'm downstairs. I'm at my place. I'm downstairs. What happens? Police car shows up, comes in. She called 911 on me for knocking on her door. That's a BPD thing, guys. They're going to call the police on you in psychosis sometimes. This is not every case, but the ones that go into psychosis might. She calls the police on me. They show up. They go up, talk to her, find out nothing happened. They end up leaving. They didn't charge me with anything. But this is the drama that you can get pulled into with these BPD girls. So returning to the borderline after you think you've been discarded or done. So here I am, the boyfriend that's already processed all these emotions, gone through suicidal ideation, suicide, really talked myself out of suicide from the way this girl almost drove me off the edge. So I've processed all this pain. I've finally given up on the relationship. I've finally done the work, self-care, things like that. I'm making tuna fish and veggies. And all of a sudden, what does she do? She texts me and asks me if she can come over and stay the night. She's just rekindling those flames of romance when she does that for the boyfriend. And it's all for nothing because they're going to just go back into a hate cycle. As far as the returning of the borderline goes, just be your friend. If your borderline's going to return to you, just consider yourself a friend at that time. I know my last girlfriend, she said, I don't want to be your girlfriend. I just want to be your friend. And yet this is the same girl that's had sex with me many times. So they definitely send mixed messages, like oral sex. She liked oral sex, so I'd give that to her a lot. This is her friends. I'm just her friend and I'm giving her oral sex. Do you see how this doesn't make sense? Like, I guess friends do that now, I guess. Anyway, what do you do about the return of the borderline after you've been discarded? So I'm making dinner that night. And then she just shows up and she rekindles all these feelings of wanting her in my life, wanting her to be around, wanting to love her, wanting to be the boyfriend, wanting to be there for her, wanting to, just be everything for her. Most often the boyfriends are very loving people, very kind people, very sweet. But the thing of it is, I knew she's BPD, so I know love-hate cycles is where it's at. So what happens? I had to ask her dogs to move out because the landlord threatened to kick me out if I didn't kick her dogs out. So I had to kick her dogs out. I said, you can stay. The dogs can't stay. So I had to kick her dogs out. What'd that do? That accesses a BPD trigger hate cycle. So now I'm in the hate cycle. She moves out. I haven't seen her since. It's been about 4 months, and this BPD girl's been out of my life because I had to ask her service animals to leave my apartment. So there it is, guys. The pain, the cycle, the rocky cycle of the boyfriend and the BPD girlfriend. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Kick the dogs out. Now we're back down the hill. So this is very painful for the boyfriend. You see what I'm saying? Here I am, the guy in my apartment. I just got the girl that I love back. 3 weeks, I think everything's fine. She's telling me I'm the only guy for her. We're literally holding hands at the bar. She's telling me I'm the only guy for her. Everything's fine and stable. And then I had to kick the dogs out. What's that? What does it do to the relationship? Boop. She's moving out. Now the relationship's down to the bottom again. And I'm just left with a broken heart, more or less. So, I guess lower your expectations with these girls. You can't expect them to be your girlfriend because most of these girls can't even be a girlfriend. I mean, I know the girl I love literally had 3 to 5 men she was talking to at once. Like this last 3 weeks I was with her, she was hanging out with me as the person that loves her. She was getting pot cookies from some other guy down the road. And then what else was it? She was talking to this young guy on texting because I'd see the messages. I was driving a car, her and her sister, and I actually saw the messages popping up. Some young guy she was like dating or trying to date. So she's dating. So she's getting messages from the guy the young guy she's talking to, right? On Facebook. This is a classic BPD move, right? They do this for extra resources, to collect resources. They want as many resources as they can. So if they have all these boyfriends, they get tons of resources, right? Like, perfect example, she hit me up this winter for a place to stay. Perfect example. That's why she has 10 guys on the back burner, so she can call these fucking guys for a place to stay. Things like that. Or get other needs met. So she's hanging out with me. She's getting pot cookies from the other guy that she's having sex with. And then she's talking to this young guy. So she's talking to 3 or 4 men all at once, with no regard for any single one of their feelings, that they're all being lied and manipulated and triangulated against. Like, there was one day she left my apartment. She came home. I swear to God, she just went to an orgy or something. She looked like she just got railed hard by a gangbang or something. I'm not kidding. Like, she denied it. She said it didn't happen. She said I was crazy and that I should go to counseling. So that was her answer to me asking her if she was down the road getting nailed or something, because she looked like she just, that look when someone has sex, you can almost tell they had sex. That's what she came back to my place looking like she had just had sex. And she denied it fully. Maybe she was completely innocent. Maybe she wasn't. I was just going on what I was seeing. But her answer was I should get counseling. That was her answer. So, the return of the borderline can be a nightmare. Like in my example, I love the girl tremendously. She comes back into my life for 3 weeks and then she leaves as soon as I got to ask the dogs to leave. So this is the boyfriend that loves her, super excited she's back, and then the hate cycle triggers, boom, she's out of your life again. So my advice to you is keep your expectations low in the return to the borderline. Because a lot of times they can't be the girlfriend. They got 5 guys they're talking to. They may be sleeping with 3 men at once. This is all true shit that happens in some borderline girls. And like I said, this is not every borderline girl. Some borderline girls could be perfect little angels, but still have those symptoms, right? You only need to meet 5 of the symptoms to be diagnosed with BPD, borderline personality disorder. So as far as the return of the borderline after you think you've been discarded or done, just tread lightly. Try to just detach yourself from those feelings. You have to keep saying to yourself, most likely this person can't be my girlfriend because of the mental illness. The more you tell yourself that, the better. Just be that unconditional friend. Think of yourself just as a supportive friend. If she wants to have sex once in a while, then just think of it as friends with benefits type stuff. Because you start pushing those relational buttons, I love you, you're the girl for me, I care about you. This is just engulfing them in those romantic feelings of attachment, which they don't like attachment. They'd rather be detached. So you're fanning all these flames that are uncomfortable for them. For like a girl like I date, she told me to my face, relationships trigger me. What is she saying? She doesn't want to be attached to another individual. She wants to live life like a college frat girl. Just having 5 guys. Tonight I'm going to fuck Jimmy. Tomorrow I'm going to fuck Bobby. To this day, this is the same lifestyle this girl lives. How do you fuck 3 guys in 1 week? I don't even know how anyone would do it. But the borderline girls can pull that off. Monday night, they go fuck Scott. By Wednesday, they're at Bobby's house getting pot cookies, fucking him. And then by the weekend, they're fucking Robbie Sue. So this, like I said, this isn't every borderline case, but this is quite a few cases of girl. And like, if you're dating a borderline, you probably should use protection. No offense, because a lot of these borderlines are promiscuous. Anyway, guys, just be that solid friend. That's the answer. Realize that if the borderline girl is untreated, then you're going to continue to see those love-hate cycles. Till next time, guys, subscribe, like this video, share, and thank you so much.